The National Electrical Code does limit the number of box extension rings that can be used. For conductors that are 14 American wire gauge, abbreviated AWG, and larger, only a single extension ring is permitted. However, for conductors that are smaller than 14 AWG, the use of extension rings is not permitted. This code provision exists primarily for safety reasons. The addition of extension rings to electrical boxes can potentially create weak points in the wiring system and subsequently increase the risk of electrical fires. It's important to note that this code requirement applies universally to all types of electrical boxes, including metal, plastic, and polyvinyl chloride, commonly referred to as PVC boxes. Furthermore, it is crucial to select and use the correct size of box extension ring that is appropriate for the specific size of the wire being used. If any extension rings are found to be damaged or cracked, they should be replaced immediately to ensure the continued integrity of the electrical connection. To ensure proper and safe installation, always adhere to the manufacturer's instructions provided with the box extension rings. Understanding these guidelines helps ensure electrical work is completed safely and according to code. The NEC, published by the National Fire Protection Association, abbreviated NFPA, is a widely adopted standard for safe electrical installation. It's updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements and safety practices in the electrical industry. Compliance with the NEC is essential for all electrical work to prevent hazards and ensure the safety of people and property. Extension rings are used to increase the volume of an electrical box. This becomes necessary when the existing box is not large enough to accommodate the number of wires, devices, such as switches or receptacles, and connectors according to the NEC fill requirements. Using the correct size and number of extension rings is critical to maintaining the integrity of the electrical system. Incorrect installations can lead to overheating, short circuits, and electrical fires. When working with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. This includes turning off the power at the circuit breaker before starting any work, using appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and eye protection, and following all applicable electrical codes and regulations. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is always best to hire a qualified and licensed electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to ensure that it is done correctly to prevent potential hazards. The NEC provides specific guidelines for box fill calculations to ensure that electrical boxes are not overcrowded. These calculations take into account the size and number of conductors, devices, and fittings within the box. Overfilled boxes can lead to damaged insulation, overheating, and potential fire hazards. The NEC also addresses the proper support and securing of electrical boxes. Boxes must be securely mounted to prevent them from moving or becoming damaged. Improperly supported boxes can create strain on the wiring connections and increase the risk of electrical problems. In addition to the limitations on extension rings, the NEC also restricts the use of certain types of boxes in specific locations. For example, metal boxes are generally required in areas where there is a risk of physical damage to the box. Non-metallic boxes are commonly used in residential applications, but they may not be suitable for all environments. The NEC also provides guidelines for grounding and bonding electrical systems. Grounding helps to protect against electrical shock by providing a path for fault current to flow back to the source. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are electrically connected to prevent voltage differences that could create a shock hazard. When selecting electrical components, it is important to choose products that are listed by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, abbreviated UL, or Electrical Testing Laboratories, abbreviated ETL. These listings indicate that the products have been tested and meet safety standards. Always inspect electrical components for any signs of damage before installing them. Damaged components should be replaced immediately to prevent potential hazards. When making wire connections, use appropriate connectors that are designed for the size and type of wire being used. Ensure that connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections that can cause overheating and electrical problems. The NEC also addresses the proper use of electrical tape. Electrical tape is used to insulate wire connections and protect them from moisture and corrosion. Use only listed electrical tape and apply it properly to ensure secure and reliable installation. When running electrical wiring, follow the NEC guidelines for cable routing and support. Cables should be properly supported to prevent them from sagging or becoming damaged. Avoid running cables through areas where they could be exposed to physical damage or moisture. The NEC also provides guidelines for the installation of electrical panels and circuit breakers. Panels should be properly sized to accommodate the expected electrical load. Circuit breakers should be selected to protect the wiring from overcurrents. Regularly inspect electrical panels and circuit breakers for any signs of damage or overheating. If you notice any problems, have them repaired by a qualified electrician. The NEC is a complex and comprehensive document that covers a wide range of electrical safety topics. It is important to stay up to date on the latest edition of the NEC and to follow all applicable codes and regulations when performing electrical work. The use of extension rings is just one small aspect of electrical safety, but it is an important one. By understanding and following the NEC guidelines for extension rings, you can help to ensure the safety of your electrical system. In addition to the NEC, local electrical codes and regulations may also apply. Check with your local building department or electrical inspector to determine the specific requirements in your area. It's important to understand the difference between American wire gauge sizes. Smaller numbers represent larger wires. For example, 12 AWG wire is larger than 14 AWG wire. Larger wires can carry more current than smaller wires. When choosing the appropriate wire size for a circuit, consider the amperage rating of the circuit breaker and the load that the circuit will be carrying. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable ampacities of different wire sizes. Always use the correct wire size for the application to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. When working with electrical boxes, be aware of the different types of boxes available. Some common types of boxes include metal boxes, plastic boxes, and weatherproof boxes. Choose the appropriate box for the environment in which it will be installed. For example, weatherproof boxes are required in wet locations. The NEC also addresses the proper use of conduit. Conduit is a type of tubing used to protect electrical wiring. It is commonly used in commercial and industrial applications. There are different types of conduit available, including rigid metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, abbreviated EMT, and flexible metal conduit. Choose the appropriate type of conduit for the application. The NEC also provides guidelines for the installation of lighting fixtures. Lighting fixtures should be properly supported and wired according to the manufacturer's instructions. Ensure that the wiring connections are tight and secure. When installing recessed lighting fixtures, be aware of the potential for overheating. Use only recessed lighting fixtures that are rated for insulation contact, abbreviated IC. These fixtures are designed to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. The NEC also addresses the proper use of extension cords. Extension cords should be used only temporarily. Avoid using extension cords as a permanent wiring solution. When using extension cords, be sure to choose cords that are rated for the amperage of the load they will be carrying. Do not overload extension cords, as this can cause overheating and potential fire hazards. The NEC also provides guidelines for the installation of surge protectors. Surge protectors are used to protect electronic equipment from voltage spikes. They should be installed at the point of entry of the electrical service and at individual outlets where sensitive electronic equipment is plugged in. The NEC is constantly evolving to keep up with the latest advancements in electrical technology. It is important to stay informed about the changes to the NEC and to follow all applicable codes and regulations. By doing so, you can help to ensure the safety of your electrical system and protect yourself and others from potential electrical hazards. The purpose of box extension rings is specifically for increasing the cubic inch capacity of an electrical box. Electrical boxes have fill requirements, and they are calculated by the volume of all conductors, devices, and fittings that are in the electrical box. The NEC provides tables which show how to calculate the cubic inch fill requirement for an electrical box based upon the wire size and the number of conductors in the electrical box. For example, a 14 AWG conductor counts as 2 cubic inches, a 12 AWG conductor counts as 2.25 cubic inches, a 10 AWG conductor counts as 2.5 cubic inches, an 8 AWG conductor counts as 3 cubic inches, and a 6 AWG conductor counts as 5 cubic inches. These values are used to make the box fill calculation to determine the minimum cubic inch capacity for the electrical box. The number of devices, such as receptacles, switches, or other similar devices, are counted twice based on the largest conductor that terminates to that device. For example, a receptacle that has 12 AWG conductors terminating to it would count as 4.5 cubic inches. Internal cable clamps count as a single conductor of the largest size that terminates in the electrical box. For example, if there are 14 AWG and 12 AWG conductors in the electrical box, then the internal cable clamp counts as 2.25 cubic inches. Splice connections, or pigtails, also count towards the box fill calculation. Each conductor that is spliced together is counted as one conductor. For example, if there are 3 12 AWG conductors spliced together, then it counts as 3 12 AWG conductors in the box fill calculation. The allowable fill of an electrical box is based on the marked cubic inch capacity. If there are too many conductors, devices, and fittings, then the electrical box fill is exceeded. To correct this situation, a larger electrical box needs to be installed, or a box extension can be used to give additional cubic inch capacity. Only one box extension is allowed if the conductors are 14 AWG or larger. But box extensions are prohibited if the conductors are smaller than 14 AWG. This is based on the NEC.